A very good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Uduak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, ASU denies federal government's claim on meeting demands. Still on the headlines, Burkina Faso military ruler stands by handover pledge. Also on the headlines, Odinga's supporters react to Supreme Court's decision. And on sport, Ghana president received World Cup trophy. And now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has declared strong support for the aspiration of the Zainab Shinkafi Bagudu, wife of the Kebbi State governor, who is currently on a three-person shortlist for the presidency of the Union for International Cancer Control, that is the UICC. In a letter to the candidate, the president pledged that the federal government of Nigeria, through the Ministries of Health and Foreign Affairs, will ensure her success in the forthcoming election of the Union. Buhari congratulated the First Lady of Kebbi State, who is also the Chief Executive Officer, that is the CEO of Medicaid Cancer Foundation, for being shortlisted as a candidate for the UICC president-elect, describing it as a well-deserved. President Buhari highlighted that this administration and his administration, through the Federal Ministry of Health, has put in place mechanisms to improve cancer care, such as the Cancer Health Fund, that is the CHF, Chemotherapy Access Treatments Program, that is the CAP, and the inclusion of cancer into the National Health Insurance Authority, that is the NHIA scheme. Away from that story, still on the federal government, let's have you know that the federal government has assured Nigerians that the worst of insecurity bothering the country is said to be over. This was made known in a joint press conference held by the Ministers of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, Police Affairs, Dingyadi, and Defense, Bashir Magashi, in Abuja, the nation's capital. During the briefing, the Minister of Information made it known that the military has succeeded in combating terrorism to a large extent, noting the high level of insecurity across the country, and also noting that the nation may still experience isolated attack.
As far as daunting security challenges we face are concerned, we can tell you that the worst is over. And never again will terrorists and bandits and their cohorts hold sway in our country. As I said at a summit organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in Abuja on August 23, 2022, President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to the military to crush those terrorizing our citizens is working. Hence, peace and security are gradually being restored to the country.
Also speaking, the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, stated the Boko Haram terrorists have been dealt with across board, with the new combat equipment being purchased to fight the terrorists. He also assured Nigerians that security has been placed at the Kaduna-Abuja highway to ensure safety of citizens commuting across states.
Across the globe, I must say with pride that our peacekeepers have had to resort peace in many conflict areas around the globe, which has earned Nigeria national individual commendation from several nations.
The government said the killing of 66 Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists, arrest of 96 and surrendering of 3,407 were pointed to the fact that the war against terrorists and other criminals was yielding positive results. And now to matters that concern the prolonged strike, especially talking education in Nigeria. Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is ASU, has asked Nigerians to disregard the claims of the federal government that it had met the demands of the union. The ASU chairman, University of Ibadan, Akinwole Ayola, described the federal government's claims as false. The union stated that all its chapters that started the over 6-month-old strike were still part of the ongoing action, and we're resolute to get what public universities needed from the government to survive and compete globally. Akinwole disclosed that the 1.1 trillion naira for revitalization of universities was not for lecturers in public universities. He added that the amount was arrived at by the federal government through her needs assessment report on the level of decay in Nigerian public universities. The ASU chair hinted that only strikes had forced the government to spend money on their universities in the last 25 years. And now, having you know, the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, on Monday said the allegation by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency linking him to the ownership of 14 assets, including shopping mall, residential estate, polo, playground, lands and farmland, was untrue. Kyari, a former commander, intelligence response team, in a statement by his lawyer, Hamza Tani, said the reports were orchestrated by the NDLEA to further tarnish his image. According to Hamza, the agency resorted to cheap blackmail because NDLEA's case in court against Abba Kyari and 4 others is not going well for them. Kyari released the details of the money in his account, stating that there are 2.8 million naira in his account, which is the only account he has been using for the past 8 years. 7,000 pounds in another local account he also kept over 8 years ago, and 350,000 naira in an account he kept many years ago. He also mentioned that all others were 200,000 naira in 2 accounts he has not used for over 8 years. The lawyer, Hamza, insisted that all the allegations on monies and properties by the NDLEA belonging to Abba Kyari were false, untrue, and lies, just to mislead the public into wrongly believing that they belong to Abba Kyari. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It's still Africa Today on Hills TV. Still talking more stories. Burkina Faso's military under Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba says he will honor a promise to restore civilian rule within 2 years. Under the 24-month transition agreement struck in July with the West African regional bloc ECOWAS, the military rulers pledged to hold elections that will return the country to civilian rule. Lieutenant Colonel Damiba visited President Alassane Ouattara of neighboring Ivory Coast, a diplomatic foray that came on the heels of a visit to Mali on Saturday. The 3 countries are battling a bloody campaign by Islamist groups in the Sahel that has worsened the security situation. Lieutenant Colonel Damiba and President Ouattara discussed the future of Burkina Faso and the security situation in the region. During the meeting, the 2 leaders praised efforts against jihadist groups and the collaboration between the 2 countries in the exchange of intelligence. The Ivorian president said he was encouraged by the ongoing reconciliation efforts in Burkina Faso. And away from that story, at least 35 civilians have been killed by a bomb that hit a convoy of vehicles in northern Burkina Faso, where jihadist rebels are active, authorities say. Dozens of others who were wounded in the blast on the road between Djibo and Brozanga. Convoys escorted by Burkina Faso's army are used to deliver supplies to towns that are otherwise cut off by jihadists. Civilian casualties and jihadist attacks have increased since the military seized power in Burkina Faso in January. Burkina Faso, which is one of the poorest countries in the world, has been grappling with a jihadist insurgency that swept in from the neighboring Mali in 2015. More than 2,000 people have died and some 1.9 million forced to leave their homes. We now move to other parts of Africa after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It is still Africa Today on Hills TV. And now let's talk to you and have you know the residents of Raila Odinga's stronghold, Kisumu, reacted to the news that the country's Supreme Court has dismissed Odinga's petition to overturn the August presidential election results, which named his rival William Ruto the winner. Some felt their victory had been stolen from them and are really waiting for further direction from their kingpin, Odinga.
And we shall not maybe call Ruto president. We are going to call Raila Molo president. If it is something that happened in 2017, that is the same thing that we are going to do. We are going to swear in Raila Molo Odinga as the president elect so that we can have two presidents. And if anything happens, we are going to call for cessation so that the Kenya...
Odinga enjoys massive support, especially from the western regions of Kenya. He has vied over 5 times since 1997 and has always claimed the plot to rig him out. Ruto's election as the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya has attracted criticism from Odinga's supporters. Kenya is the most dynamic economy in East Africa, but many are suffering deep hardship with prices for basic goods skyrocketing and unemployment a major problem, particularly among the youth. Still talking more story, this time getting on to Angola and having you know that main opposition party in Angola, National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, that is the UNITA, has urged the Constitutional Court to hear its appeals and invalidate the declared election results that gave victory to President João Lourenço's MPLA. Chairman and presidential candidate of UNITA, Adalberto Costa Jr., on Monday said that discrepancies of over 500,000 votes changed the official results. The Angolan National Electoral Commission, that is the CNE, in response to the petition, asked the Constitutional Court to reject the appeals lodged by UNITA, Bloco Democrático, and CASA CE coalition contesting the official results of the election. Lucas Colundo, spokesman for the CNE, said his team had done their job correctly. Out of the 16 electoral commissioners, 4 did not sign off on the final result, raising questions about the credibility of the polls. African heads of state and top figures from global organizations met in Rotterdam on Monday to address climate change financing in Africa. Rich countries said they will spend about $25 billion by 2025 to boost Africa's efforts to adapt to climate change as the continent continues to struggle with drought, cyclones and extreme heat, according to officials. Half of the amount is pledged by the African Development Bank, that is the AFDB, with representatives from Denmark, the United Kingdom, that is the UK, France, the Netherlands, the International Monetary Fund, that is the IMF, and others also offering their support for the initiative. Many speakers at the event felt the upcoming COP27 was a perfect place for the issues to be nailed down.
Must double down on climate finance adaptation for Africa at COP27. Double down. It was promised in Glasgow. It has to be delivered 2 months from now.
The summit comes just weeks after the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development found that rich countries had failed to deliver on their 2009 promise to spend $100 billion a year to aid developing countries to adapt to a warming climate.
And this is the largest ever globally effort on adaptation. So it's something, but we need the money. The African Development Bank put down $12.5 billion out of $25 billion. So we're not begging, right? We're saying that we didn't cause the problem. We come to the conversation with very good heart, a very great commitment. Meet us halfway.
He added that the cost of adapting to climate change are expected to increase by 2050 as the effects of global warming gets more severe. Also speaking, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo said his country will push for the funds allocated to the adapting to a warmer climate to be doubled at the forthcoming United Nations, that is the UN Summit in Egypt in November. Coming right up next on Africa Today is business. Don't go away. Always a delight to have you back. Welcome to the Business Desk on Africa Today. Abuja, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Kogi, Niger, and neighboring states may encounter another round of scarcity of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, following the commencement of a 3-day warning strike by the Suleja Depot branch of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, that is the IPMAN. Members of the union commenced a strike on Monday in protest against the continued indebtedness of the federal government to oil marketers with respect to the payment of fuel transportation costs, otherwise called bridging claims. The IPMAN Suleja Depot branch chairman, Yahaya Al-Hassan, said marketers had stopped the supply of the product from the depot as the union had prevented trucks from moving PMS to the northern states. He said marketers were withdrawing their services until the federal government settled their outstanding bridging claims of 50.5 billion US naira. Meanwhile, the marketers have shut the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, that is the NNPC depot in Kano State. The IPMAN Forum chairman in Kano State, Alhaji Musa Yahya Maikifi, disclosed this while addressing journalists in Kano on Monday. Bringing you more stories, this time let's have you know that Zambia plans on holding detailed talks with China and other creditors as it tries to rebuild its economy after defaulting on its foreign debt in 2020. The Southern African country last week got a boost on its financial fortunes after securing $1.3 billion IMF bailout. The Washington-based IMF says the bailout package will help re-establish sustainability through fiscal adjustment and debt restructuring. Musoko Tuane said the loan agreement includes passing off a new law that will make it harder for any future government to borrow in a reckless manner. The government will also eliminate the fuel subsidy but retain farm subsidies. In 2020, Zambia became the first African nation to default repayment of its foreign debt since the coronavirus pandemic. The country was already struggling with its $12 billion external debt load. Still to come on Africa Today is sports. Don't go away. You see that?
Very good afternoon to you and welcome to Sport News on Africa Today. I'm Richard Badung. Danish Premier League club FC Copenhagen has confirmed that Super Eagles prodigy Akiwumi Amoho is out of the season due to injury. Amoho joined Copenhagen in 2021 from the Swedish side Hammarby, but injury has hampered his progress with the Danish side. Copenhagen on Tuesday morning confirmed that the Nigerian international sustained an injury on Saturday. In the same vein, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen is a doubt for Wednesday's Champions League clash with Liverpool. The Nigerian international trained separately from the rest of the team on Monday morning due to a muscle issue, and it poses a source of concern for Napoli, who opens the Champions League group stage game against last season's beaten finalist. The Azzurri trained at Castel Volturno on Monday morning following their 2-1 win over Maurizio Sarri's Lazio on Saturday. We'll take a bus walk away from that story now. Nigerian-USA clash in Washington, D.C. today in the second leg of a 2-match tour of the United States by the 9-time African champions. 3-time world champions USA trounced the Super Falcons 4-0 in the two teams' first encounter at the Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Missouri on Saturday. With a brace from Sophia Smith and 1 goal each by Lindsey Horan and Alex Morgan, sealing an emphatic win for the Americans, Super Falcons coach Randy Waldrum assured improvements as the team will be in action later tonight.
We're going to look at some other players. You know, we still didn't get Onyechigini in. We didn't get Esther into the game. You know, we need to see those players as well. And obviously, we'll continue to study the video from the first match and try to clean up some things defensively. You know, the hard part is you're playing against a team that's not only the best in the world, but they're in the peak of their physical condition. You know, they're all in the league here in the U.S., which is getting ready for playoffs. So physically, they're in a better place than us.
Today's encounter will take place at the Audi Field in Washington. Audi Field is utilized by a National Women's League side, Washington Spirit, and Major League Soccer team, DC United. Away from that sports story, Ghana President Nana Akufo-Addo has received, defending champion Nigeria under-19 boys volleyball national team defeated Tunisia 3-2 in the last group stage match at the ongoing under-19 Boys African Nations Volleyball Championship in Morocco. Nigeria finished top with 8 points, winning all the group matches, while Tunisia placed second with 7 points on Monday. The Nigerians have therefore qualified for the next round in the competition. In the girls category, Egypt became champions of the under-19 Girls African Nations Volleyball Championship in Abuja. The final was played at the multipurpose hall of Moshid Abiola Stadium, Abuja. The Egyptians defeated Cameroon 3-1 to lift the trophy. Egypt had on Sunday beat Cameroon under-19 girls 3-0 in their last group game on Sunday. The finalists have qualified for the under-19 Girls Volleyball World Cup. And that's the sport news on Africa Today. Thank you for listening. Back to Udwak Daniel for the rest of the news. I'm Richard Badum. Preto.
Many thanks, Richard Badung, for that one on sports. One of these days, I should be on sports too, myself. Anyways, that's how we call it a close in Africa today. But before we go, a quick look at our top stories. We told you ASU denies federal government's claim on meeting demands. We also told you Burkina Faso military ruler stands by handover pledge. We brought to the fore the fact that Odinga supporters react to Supreme Court's decision. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, on Instagram at Hills TV, and on Twitter, our YouTube channel as well is at Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. Thank you for watching.